A physician in ancient Egypt sits beside a patient who is wasting away. The man eats, he drinks, and still he diminishes, his body consuming itself from the inside. The physician has seen this before. He has a name for it, a description recorded on papyrus, and crucially, he has a treatment. That was 3,500 years ago. Across the ancient world, in the river valleys of India, in the courts of imperial China, in the schools of Islamic medicine, healers were watching the same condition unfold. Excessive thirst, frequent urination, fatigue that no amount of rest could touch, a sweetness to the urine that ants would gather around. They had no blood glucose monitors, no insulin, no metformin. What they had was observation, patience, and a deep, accumulated knowledge of the plants and practices that could bring the body back into balance. What they discovered, and what you are about to hear, has never been more relevant than it is right now. Here is what most people are told about type 2 diabetes. That it is a chronic, progressive condition. That once you have it, management is the best you can hope for. That the conversation begins and ends with medication, and that anything outside that conversation is either naive or dangerous. And yet, the ancient medical traditions that documented this condition never framed it as a life sentence. Ayurvedic physicians classified it as a metabolic imbalance, one that could be corrected through precise intervention. Traditional Chinese medicine viewed it as a disruption in the body's ability to transform and transport, and prescribed specific plants and practices to restore that function. Islamic physicians in the 9th century outlined dietary protocols for blood sugar regulation that read, in striking ways, like modern metabolic research. These were not guesses. These were clinical observations refined across generations of practice. What you were never told is that the plants these healers prescribed have now been studied in controlled trials. And what researchers keep finding, quietly, consistently, is that the ancients were not wrong. To understand why these remedies work, you need to understand what is actually happening inside the body. Type 2 diabetes is not primarily a sugar problem. It is an insulin problem. Insulin is the key. It unlocks your cells so glucose, the energy your body runs on, can enter them. In type 2 diabetes, the locks stop responding. The keys are there, but the doors won't open. Glucose builds up in the bloodstream because it has nowhere to go. This is insulin resistance. And it does not appear overnight. It develops slowly, driven by chronic inflammation, excess visceral fat, sedentary patterns, and a diet that floods the blood with glucose faster than the body can process it. Here is what matters. Every ancient remedy you are about to hear targets one or more of these exact mechanisms. Some slow the flood of glucose entering the blood. Some make the locks more responsive. Some reduce the inflammation driving the resistance. The ancients did not have our language, but they were addressing the same problem. Bitter melon for type 2 diabetes. In the ancient medical texts of India, bitter melon was prescribed for madhumeha, honey urine, with a specificity that suggests centuries of careful observation. Ayurvedic physicians knew which part of the plant to use, how to prepare it, and when to administer it. Modern research has identified why. Bitter melon contains 3 compounds, charantin, vicine, and polypeptide P, that mimic insulin activity in the body. They help glucose enter the cells without requiring insulin to do the work. For a body where the insulin response has weakened, this is a significant intervention. How to prepare and use the ancient method. Take 2 to 3 fresh bitter melon fruits. Remove the seeds. Press the flesh through a cloth to extract the raw juice. Drink 1 small cup, approximately 100 milliliters, each morning on an empty stomach. The Ayurvedic tradition specifies morning use before food to allow the compounds to act before the first glucose load of the day. Begin with smaller amounts as the body adjusts to the bitterness. Fenugreek for type 2 diabetes. Fenugreek appears in the Ebers Papyrus, in Ayurvedic formulations, and in Ibn Sina's Canon of Medicine. 3 traditions, 1 plant. The agreement across cultures is not coincidental. Fenugreek seeds are dense with soluble fiber, specifically a compound called galactomannan. This fiber forms a viscous gel in the digestive tract that slows the absorption of glucose into the bloodstream. Less flooding, more gradual entry. The insulin response has time to keep pace. How to prepare and use. The ancient method. Soak 2 teaspoons of whole fenugreek seeds in a small cup of water overnight, a minimum of 8 hours. Each morning, drink the water and chew the softened seeds before eating. The soaking process activates the fiber and reduces the compound that causes digestive discomfort. Ibn Sina's tradition specifies consistent daily use over a minimum of 30 days before assessing effect. Cinnamon for type 2 diabetes. Ancient Egyptian physicians included cinnamon in preparations for metabolic complaints. Traditional Chinese medicine used it to warm and regulate the digestive system's transformation of food into energy, language that maps with precision onto what we now understand as glucose metabolism. Cinnamon improves the sensitivity of insulin receptors. It makes the lox more responsive to the key. Even small daily amounts have shown measurable reductions in fasting blood glucose in clinical studies. How to prepare and use. The ancient method. Use Ceylon cinnamon, true cinnamon, not cassia. Bring 2 cups of water to a gentle simmer. Add 1 full cinnamon stick broken into pieces. Simmer uncovered for 20 minutes. Allow to cool slightly. Drink 1 cup in the morning before food and 1 cup in the evening after the final meal. The ancient preparation always used the whole bark decocted in water, never powder added to food as an afterthought. Mulberry leaf for type 2 diabetes. In classical Chinese medicine, mulberry leaf, sangye, was prescribed specifically for the wasting and thirsting disease. It was consumed as a tea, taken with deliberate timing relative to meals. The reason is now understood. Mulberry leaf contains a compound called deoxynitroglycine, DNJ, that directly inhibits alpha-glucosidase, the enzyme responsible for breaking complex carbohydrates into glucose. Inhibit that enzyme, and you slow the conversion of food into blood sugar at the source. How to prepare and use. The ancient method. Bring 2 cups of water to just below boiling. Add 1 tablespoon of dried mulberry leaves. Steep covered for 10 to 15 minutes. Covered steeping is specified in classical texts to retain the volatile compounds. Strain and drink 1 cup 15 minutes before your 2 largest meals of the day. The timing is deliberate. The compounds must be present in the digestive tract before the carbohydrate load arrives. Step back for a moment and look at what these remedies share. Not one of them treats blood sugar directly. Every single one of them addresses a mechanism: the rate of glucose absorption, the sensitivity of insulin receptors, the enzymatic conversion of food into sugar. The ancients were not suppressing a symptom. They were intervening in a process. And notice something else. Every tradition that documented this condition also prescribed the same behavioral corrections alongside the plants. Reduced consumption of sweet and refined foods, movement after meals, structured periods of fasting, smaller, more deliberate eating patterns. This is not coincidence. This is pattern recognition across cultures that never spoke to each other, arriving at the same conclusions through observation alone. You are not looking at folklore. You are looking at an empirical tradition that worked forward from results and left the record for you to find. So why is none of this the first conversation your doctor has with you? The answer is not conspiracy. It is architecture. Modern medicine is built around interventions that can be standardized, patented, and prescribed. A fenugreek seed soaked overnight cannot be patented. A cinnamon decoction simmered each morning has no patent number. The economics of the system do not flow toward what cannot be owned. That does not make pharmaceutical intervention wrong. For many people, it is necessary and life-saving. What it does mean is that a vast body of knowledge, refined across 35 centuries of careful human observation, sits outside the architecture of what gets funded, studied, and recommended. What is being recovered right now, quietly, in research institutions across the world, is the validation of what traditional medicine never forgot. The knowledge was never lost. It was simply never given a patent number. 3 things to carry with you from this video. First, type 2 diabetes is a metabolic condition driven by insulin resistance. Every natural remedy that has survived 35 centuries of use addresses that resistance at the mechanistic level. This is not accidental. Second, the plants work best when the practices accompany them. Bitter melon and fenugreek and mulberry leaf are more powerful inside a life that moves after meals, eats with intention, and gives the body structured periods of rest from glucose. The ancients never separated the two. Third, start with 1, not 5. Choose the remedy that feels most accessible to you and commit to it consistently for 30 days before you assess. Ancient medicine was never about dramatic intervention. It was about patient, daily practice applied with discipline over time. The body remembers how to regulate itself. Sometimes it simply needs the right conditions to do so. If this video gave you something valuable, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to Ancient Natural Cures for a new video every week, each one recovering what traditional medicine knew and modern research is confirming. Leave a comment below telling us which remedy you are going to try first. We read every one. God bless you.